and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147. It's Heaven and Earth Design WIP Chat time. So I actually have got a little bit more done than I thought I would, primarily because I'm filming this WIP Chat later than I normally would. Let me just get it so that you can see the screen and where I'm working. So yeah, I'm currently filming this on Wednesday. It is half term, so I have the bonus of having children home, so I can do this in the day, which has meant that I've actually been able to get a little bit more done than I thought. I had a few days last week where I didn't get any done in the day. But I'm at the end of the next row now, which is awesome. It's still getting there. It's still plodding on. I'm not halfway through my 2023 goal yet, but I'm getting close. So my 2023 goal is to finish this Heaven and Earth design completely. And in order to do that, I still had half of the whole painting to do. My aim is to do a section a day, primarily Monday through Friday, though occasionally when I film a WIP and Chat on the weekend, I of course get another one done. And so with it being with me being halfway through, and therefore needing to complete half, I'm very nearly there. When I get to this middle section, so 3 more sections after this, when I get onto that middle section, that is halfway through the remaining half of the diamond painting. And we're in April, so we're not yet halfway through the year. I didn't start it I didn't start it in January. I didn't start it until, what was it? It was very near the end of January if it wasn't February already. So February, March, April. I've not even finished April. So 2 complete months of February and March and part of April. So there is hope that this will get finished. I find it goes in mini waves for me as sort of, the drive to get it finished. I go through periods where I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it, and then I go through bits where I think it's just when everything else gets so busy, then I'm just like, oh no, I can't quite do it today. I'm a bit busy. Got quite a few things to do today. I can't take that hour to do the Heaven and Earth design, which half the time I then still take half hour of it waking up. So yeah, sometimes I think if I just got up and got on with it, I would have still had time to do everything. But it's weird, if I don't start this first thing in the morning and do my section first thing in the morning, and decide, oh, okay, I've got a busy day. So for example, I've got a busy day, I will, get started doing orders and things that need to go out, and then maybe I'll do the Heaven and Earth design later. Yeah, it never happens later. So I've been quite consciously trying to make sure this week that I definitely do my Heaven and Earth design, and I get to fit everything in the day, so I should just continue to do that. The only days that it probably will be a bit different is launch weekends, probably, because they are extremely busy. And sometimes I do wonder if I'm still going to get all orders out by the end of Monday, but yeah, but that is where I'm up to. So at least there is some progress from last time I spoke to you all. They're very bitty these sections at the moment. As you can see, there is quite a bit of blossom, and as soon as the blossom comes in, all the different colours come in. The section I actually did this morning, because I did do this morning's section, hence it now says I've done 649 stitches today. Yeah, the section I did this morning, oh, it must have had so many colours that were just one of each. So I had a load of these blues further up, just one or two. I've not run out of any colours yet. I'm still working through them. But yeah, it's fun. It's still fun. Right, I do have my computer in with me today rather than my iPad. There's quite a few long comments or longer comments in the section, and I couldn't be doing with fighting with them on my iPad today. So I have more room on my desk when I do the Heaven and Earth design because it's flat. So I thought, let's just bring the computer in and take that out of the equation. So let me just get these squares placed, the square symbol, and then once I've got my next symbol lined up, I will make a start on the comments, because there are loads of comments. There is absolutely loads of Heaven and Earth design comments at the moment, and maybe this bitty one will give me a good chance to get through some of them. Do we have any 300s? Oh, it's very rare that I only have a couple of these. This is part of the tree trunk, so I often have quite a few, but I only have 2. Let's see if I can find something else that I have a bit more. But there's no real blockiness on any of these symbols at the moment. They are all sort of all over the place. For 310, I need to fill up my 310. I have what looks like some 300 that's floating about in here. And I have quite a few ones that aren't fit for using. But let's see if I can get enough. I only need 4. Let me get that one to turn over. I've been wanting to clear this rubbish stuff out of here, but I've always had just a few too many diamonds. I've got 2 there that were stuck together that can be used. But I need to bring my pot, my big bag full of black in here. But it's enough to do this one. So, in fact, I'm going to leave that out. And that will remind me to go and get it. If not, I'll have to get it tomorrow morning anyway. So Liz says this Heaven and Earth design is looking beautiful. She said thank you for keeping her company while she worked on her Diamond Art Club mystery canvas. There's been a lot of talk of the mystery canvases recently. I need to make sure that I don't think about it when I'm near my computer to go browsing. She said it's not quite a blank canvas project, but the closest she feels comfortable with at the moment. She says she's just celebrated her first year diamond painting, and she's so glad that she's found my channel. She says she has learnt so much. Oh, that's good. It helps to make the craft more enjoyable if you pick up hints and tips. She says she loves the spare storage idea, she says, which she is using, and she's spending a day sorting it all out and getting a 3rd box for her specials when she has a week off work for Easter. She says she's sure that I will get my Heaven and Earth design project finished early summer. That's a nice idea. Early summer. If I've had 2 months at it, hopefully another couple of months, and then of course a speedier part near the end. There is still the hope. She says, fingers crossed for June, and she said, thanking you for everything that you do. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I am hoping that I get a spurt nearer the end, which will help sort of bring this project to a bit more of a close. There will, of course, still be then working out how to frame it, where it's going to go and all that. But it will be nice to get this one finished. I'm also actually really looking forward to working on my other one, my black and white one with less colours. I'm thinking it would be quite nice to do a section of that a day. It's smaller, so it will finish up a lot quicker. It's also less colours because there's only 15 in it, which means to do the same size section, the maximum amount of times I have to tip diamonds into a tray is 15. And with the new tray storage coming, I may even set myself up a little tray use for them and have trays that are used for specific colours, so I actually don't have to do the tipping out and the tipping back, which may speed things up even more. So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to doing that one as much as I'm looking forward to finishing this one. There are some days that I must admit, like today's section, when it is confetti everywhere, that I'm like, oh, just give me an easy section. Give me a quick win for today, but I'm sure it will get easier and easier, especially as some of the colours with very low numbers start dwindling down. I'm sure it will get a lot easier. But we definitely have pinks, corals, really pale pinks, darker pinks. We even have some reds in all of this confetti section. And yeah, it just really takes a long time. Sometimes even this section that I have quite a few that I'm placing down. So I've actually done 115 diamonds so far, but because they're spread out everywhere, it's really confusing. And I've just realised I put 320 back in 310 spot. It's the only thing when I take a bottle out. Anne says she does her cross stitch in the same manner as me. She says she finishes the thread and then change the colour. She said, however, she has watched some videos of parking threads, and her takeaway is that if the parked thread will be covered by other stitches, then it's fine. But if it's going across a blank canvas, or one that will be done in very light colours, then it will be wise to tie off and restart later. She's asked what my thoughts are on that. So I also too had a look at the park stitching, and the video that was kindly posted for me, I found the bit where somebody explained the parked threads. Now, the way they were doing it is they did basically one square, but then parked. So on this one, they'd have done those two symbols, but then they would have parked it for this one. So they'd have parked it out of the way, ready to do later. And they did that with all stitches within the square. Oh, I had placed one there. I thought I'd placed a diamond that I hadn't yet marked off. And I've just found it. Where's my tweezers? Just move you down. And I think, to me, I would constantly be double checking everything, you know, that was apart, to check it was the right colour and all the rest of it. I too agree that I wouldn't, if it wasn't going to get tucked in to other threads, if you had like a big gap that wasn't going to be able to have other threads going over the top of it, and it was, say, a blank, I would tie that off and start again. I think I like the idea of the park threads and the concept that you can park a thread, but I don't think I would change the whole way I would do something based on that. It may be that I use it on occasion. So maybe if it was something that was quite a distance away but was going to be covered with stitches, then maybe I would park that thread, but I wouldn't park it just going from one square to the next if it was close enough to finish them all off. I just don't think I'd bother. I think to me it'd just be easier to actually do it, but maybe that's because I've always done the other method, which is called what, cross country or something. Basically I just keep going. I mean, with diamond painting I do block it off, but I think that's because it's not a thread that I'm having to tie off and all that sort of stuff. I don't think I'd want to do a cross stitch with 239 colours. I don't think I'd want to do that anyway. I think that would be a bit OTT for me. I'd do it in maybe the 89 colour version. I think it's 89, the other version, but I'd definitely do it in the smaller rather than the big one. Right, have we got another up there? See, scattering everywhere, loads of singles. The joys of confetti. Oh, got a couple of these as well. Amanda, she says, happy diamond painting. She says she loves your channel. She said she has a question. She says, can you make a diamond painting tray that has no lines in the middle? Yeah, we could. With the design that we have, we could potentially remove the lines and still make the same tray. That would have to be sort of a special request one. I don't know how much that would be wanted to warrant it being a stock item. So if there's something in particular that you're after, or particular reason that you're after them without any lines, then yeah, let us know. If it's something that quite a few people want, also let us know, because then maybe if it is something that is requested quite a bit, then we could potentially make it a stock item. But it is something that we could do based on the design and the way the design is made, and the fact that we made the design allows us to remove elements from it. But I am interested as to what you're going to use it for. I'm nosy like that. Okay, let me get this next lot. Emma, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she doesn't normally leave comments. She said she just sits in the back and listens. Awesome. Well, hello Emma. She says she uses markup for her Heaven and Earth design, and she got a 2-week trial before she purchased anything. Okay, maybe I'll have a look, because if I get a trial, it's worth trying it, but I definitely don't want to pay beforehand. She said she likes using it a little bit more than Pattern Keeper. She said she loves the videos and she's been a long time subscriber of 3 years. She said she started watching when I first started on this Heaven and Earth design journey. Oh, back when I was thinking it wouldn't take 3 years, is that? I'm pretty sure it was back then. Yeah, I was hoping originally it wasn't going to take that long, but I have had quite a few periods of a longer break from it, whereas now I may end up having a day or two, but then I do go back to it. And telling myself I don't have to catch up has actually helped really well. Even though I knew I would be filming a Heaven and Earth design video this morning, because the kids are off, I have actually geared a lot of things around the fact that the girls are off. One's home from uni and one, of course, is not teaching because the kids are off from school. So I've actually already told them that it is a YouTube week for me this week. I'm going to be able to give myself the weekend off by getting my videos done through the week. So I've put a pause on preparing Advent items primarily. So I get bits done I need to get done. I get orders and stuff done in the morning. I get emails replied to. Quite a lot of suppliers that we've been in contact with are sort of wrapping up and we're just waiting on products to turn up. Yeah, so I worked quite a bit last week to get as much things prepped for the shop as I could, so that I could focus on squeezing some YouTube videos in each day and getting ahead a little bit. But yeah, even though I was trying to think then what started off that tangent, hence this is a waffle. Yeah, this morning I still did my Heaven and Earth design because I thought if something happens and I don't get to film it till tomorrow or anything like that, at least I've still got my section done. And if I do get to film, then so what? It can be classed as a catch-up from some of the ones I missed last week. So I've actually got 2 sections done today, which means I'm closer to halfway. I should be past halfway by the time you watch the WIP and Waffle next week. I'm not going to count how many squares I should have done because I didn't meet that last week. Let's not tempt a fate. Right, what colour do I need next? At least some of these colours I am putting down a lot of them. Not all of them, hence there's only 2. But quite a few of them I am putting down a lot. They're just scattered. Scattered all over the place. There's no real blocky work at all in this section, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Find my next one. Grey Legrand, she said she had to hit pause and Google parking threads. Okay, I've just noticed I put that one in the wrong place because it didn't have the gap I should have had. So let's try that one again now we've moved it. I do make more mistakes when I am chatting and doing this at the same time than I do when I'm doing it on my own, should I say, in the morning. But at least they're fixable. So yeah, Grey Legrand said she had to hit pause and Google parking threads. She says she doesn't cross stitch yet, but she did find it very interesting. She said she has been considering buying a stamped cross stitch design next time, that she orders a snack size diamond painting. That's probably the best way to give it a go. I still enjoy cross stitch. I still have all my collection of DMC threads that I can, you know, pull from when I get another chart and then purchase anything that I'm missing. So I still have all of those. They haven't made any craft room cull or anything like that. They're actually tucked in the TV cabinet, which tends to be the catch-all for that stuff that we don't quite know where it's supposed to live. But I think I only want to do it when I see a chart that just really catches my eye, like that Christmas one I did that still took me a couple of years. But there is something nice about sitting and cross stitching. It's a different position to diamond painting as well, and I think that's what it partly is. So yeah, get a stamped one and give it a go. Karen said she took the plunge. She has downloaded a free pattern from Heaven and Earth Design and the Pattern Keeper app. She said they actually now offer 1 full month to use it before purchase, so that's good. They've increased that. She said so she probably should have waited until she had a canvas and drills. She says, but now she is committed. I have 0 regrets buying the Pattern Keeper app. I do get what you mean though. I think when I downloaded it, I think I may have used it once. And then I hadn't done any Heaven and Earth Design, and I went to use it again and my 2 weeks were up. So I sort of lost out on the bulk of my free trial as well. But I don't regret buying it whatsoever. She says she's got a Maui Princess, and it will be 100 centimetres by 125. Gulp. She says, did I hear you say that you print labels for them on one of your videos? She said, if so, can you please let me know how she can take advantage, and it will give me a convenient reason to order more trays. She says thank you so much, and she loves your video, loves my videos. Yes, we do offer a service where we will print your symbol and your DMC number onto labels for you to be able to label up your Heaven and Earth Design bottles quicker and easier. They are in our shop, addmorezest.com, but I will pop a link for Karen so that she can find it. But yeah, just makes things a bit easier, really. Have I done that one? I have done that one. Did I do the one at the top? No. I wasn't updating that as quick as I normally do. Hopefully I didn't miss any. 780, just the one. Denise, she says, gah. She says she is the type of person that doesn't really emote very well when typing. She says when she types out something that she is really excited about in real life, she reads it back and she says, man, do I sound boring. She says she also tries to be reassuring, but she had friends, or her friends were due to close on a house this week, and when planning things, the final walkthrough, they were also asking what the objective was. She said she was trying to explain that it was just to make sure the house was as you last saw it, and then proceed to scare them half to death by relaying stories of squatters, and burn down houses she's seen, when all she meant to do was reassure them that it was just to ensure that what they were buying is still as expected. She said she can give great advice for fixing things. She says, but apparently she does just amp people up and make them more anxious when she tries to make them feel better. She said writing it all out, she said, makes it worse too. Tone is so hard for some people, she says, me, to convey in writing. She said, and even emojis don't always help. I feel, yeah, Denise, I completely get what you're saying. Quite often, a lot of my replies when writing, I tend to keep short, sweet, to the point, whether that's come from my letter writing days to people who had a complaint and writing their outcome, kept short and to facts and things like that, because I find that's the only way that you can not try and get it construed the wrong way. So maybe that'll help you. But yeah, that's the only way I find. So you'll often find that my written reply is a lot shorter than my waffle, as you may be able to tell by today's video and the tangents I go off on. It's a lot easier to explain things verbally than in writing. So yeah, I tend to keep my replies to comments, questions, even emails, things like that. I try to keep them a bit more to the point. And if people do need more information, they can come back and I'll give more information. But I find there's less chance of it being misunderstood if I keep things a bit short and sweet. Plus the email tends to get read. Tends to get read in full if it's only short. Okay, let's find my next colour. And sometimes there's colours that I think are going to be in here and they just aren't. But that's just based on previous sections. And sometimes you do tend to lose those colours as you work through it. But I still keep expecting them to pop up. 1, 2, 3. I do a lot of counting. Just counting diamond paintings, even if it's just my 1, 2, 3, 4, so I know I'm marking off 4. Try and make less mistakes that way. Oh, I think it's 5 that I need, unless I'm... Oh, I think it is only actually 4. I think I'm reading this symbol down the bottom. I think I've counted that in my little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and actually it's only 4 that go on this canvas. Oh well, it's always easy enough to put 1 diamond back. Easier than a truckload. Alexandra, she says, dear Rebecca, she says, thank you for answering my question about my sections. She said she has since noted that especially some of her darker colours are a touch smaller than some of her lighter colours. I find that too as well. If you're going to have diamonds that are a slight different shape, it tends to be the darker that's smaller. She says she has pushed some drills along and things are looking much better. She says your suggestion of focusing and making sure that the drill, each drill is in the centre of each square, she said has made a big difference. She says thank you. She says for any other viewers, she says she's also excuse me. She's almost done the full top row of her Heaven and Earth design using markup. Markup RXP, she said, and it seems to work great. It seems very similar, she says, to Pattern Keeper, though obviously she hasn't used that one. Excuse me, she's just seen me using it, so she hasn't used that herself. She says she's just really glad that there's an option that would work for everyone. She says no matter what device they have. She says for herself, she just simply didn't want to buy another device just for a single app. So this worked great for her. She says the stats section in Markup is really cool. She says you can track your progress according to a calendar. So you can look at previous days, and it gives you an estimated finish day based on your current progress. She says she loves that because she loves numbers. I like that idea. Maybe I'll have to give it a run through, maybe on my other Heaven and Earth design, on my black and white one. Maybe I'd give it a go on that one and see how it works in the trial before purchasing anything. Because yeah, I do like the idea of using my iPad over this tablet, only because this tablet I think eventually will get to the point where it's basically going to get old and stop working as well. It's 3 years old now, which overall is not bad. However, for a tablet that is used for one app, it's how long it'll last. I tend to get about 3-4 sections done before I have to charge the battery. But it does take a different connector to everything else that I've got that's Apple. So yeah, maybe I'll give Markup a go on my other Heaven and Earth design, because there's less symbols, less things to get confused about and have to try and figure out. It will be easier with less symbols to deal with. But I'm so glad that the popping the squares in the middle helps, especially if you are using some spares. You can find that diamonds can be slightly different shapes in size wise. You're talking probably a fraction of a mil, but if you have enough of it, it can make a difference to your image. And I know when I pull out some drills, I'm like, ooh, these are nice ones, and then I'll pull out others and I'm like, oh, this is the rubbish lot. These are a bit crappy. But you know, I don't want to be buying the drills for all of this when I just have them all here ready, and I don't think it affects the overall image. Tracy, she says she loves seeing my progress on this project. She said it's coming along beautifully. She said as far as spare drills go, she said since she implemented my box storage system, she says she's been able to stay organised, and she's not only helped herself if she's ever needed spare diamonds, but she's also been able to share them with her grandma and her dad. Her grandma and I started, her grandma and her and her grandma, sometimes you're trying to change, trying to use the right words for me reading it, and I muck it up. So yeah, herself and her grandma started diamond painting in 2021, and she's managed to get her dad hooked on the hobby this year. Awesome. Yeah, you'll be able to share diamonds. Do you get thrown the diamonds like I do from the kids? So whenever the kids do a diamond painting, I'm often the one that needs to kit up. I'm often the one that needs to de-kit, and all the spares go in with all of my spares. So I wonder if you've ended up with that job in your little diamond painting clan. My son has recently been doing a diamond painting. I gave him the option to pick one from my stash. So we wanted to pick one and do it and see how much he enjoyed it before deciding if he wants to do an image, you know, that maybe he chooses and will go in his room. Yeah, he just wanted to know that he liked it first. So he actually chose a raccoon in flowers. It was gifted to me by a subscriber, and that's the one he picked he wanted to do. And he's been doing it for 3 or 4 days, and he's done the whole top row. He prefers to work from the top. And yeah, he just comes down and does an hour or so most days. Comes down, does an hour or so, and then goes off again. But yeah, it's coming along nicely. But I had to kit that up, and I'm sure I will be de-kitting that one too. That will be for sure. I've actually got some diamonds from one that Caris decided before she went away, because she's gone to Australia for a year. She took her Zesty Wolf painting with her to do, but decided another one that she had kitted up she wasn't interested in doing. So she's actually thrown me the diamonds for that one to put into my stash, and they're still on my shelf to do. So if you ever get a random putting diamonds away, that'll be me cleaning up after the kids. Oh, we've got a little 947. This is where one of these little odd diamonds that we only have 9 left. We now have 8. That probably aren't going to turn up for a good few rows before we get to do the rest. Still waiting for one to be gone completely. 986, another one that doesn't turn up very often. Susan, she said, hi Rebecca. She said she's back from vacation. She says where she completed about 7 paint gem mandalas. She said she's now catching up on my videos. She said in this WIP and Waffle, she said Olivia asked about a checkerboard 3x3 multi-placer. She said here in Ontario, she says we have a local company that makes amazing drill pens and multi-placer sets. She said she did ask the owner about 2x2 multi-placers. She said, and they gave exactly the exact explanation that you just did about why it wouldn't work. So in relation to the drill sizes and getting them in the right position. She said, but it has been thought of before. She said the company she's talking about makes their multi-placers with stainless steel barrels embedded in 3D printed holders. She says she's currently back to work on her Diamond Art Club Matchmaker's Maze for Mermaids and Magic 23. She says, thanks for your wonderful video and congratulations on reaching 70%. Yes, it's getting there. Oh, guess what I've just seen, and I missed it. I missed it when it happened. Can anybody else see it? Look, it says new. We lift it up. It says new. Can you see that? Is my lights reflecting? My little neon light there. 989 is finished. I am done with 989. Now, by all accounts, that will disappear when I open up this app tomorrow. It will no longer be there. Well excited. So I'm going to start moving my little bottles up. What number am I up to? I've just done 3012. That'll confuse me because that 3012 is always one that I remember where it is. I wonder how many times I'm going to go for it on the other row. I did actually think, and this is probably sad as well, I did actually think about moving into the new big art dot case that I got. And then I thought, is it worth it because of the amount of time that I probably will still be doing this? But then I keep thinking, well, it might be just because it'll be fun to do is move all my diamonds over. I was actually thinking about stickering up the bottles with the stickers that we sell in the shop and moving them over that way. So actually keeping the bottles in these cases and tipping the diamonds out. But let me know your thoughts, or whether I should just stick with my 4 cases that I have now. Or do I move to the art dot case that I unboxed? But I do like to shuffle them up and have my blank ones at the bottom. So I'm definitely doing that. Oh, I got a badge. I got a little badge. It's the small things, but I'm excited that I have another one that I can pop away. It has taken me so long. It's the first colour that I have been able to de-kit and put away since, in 2023. It's the first one that I've had this time. When I did my one in August, where I just did it each day for 1 month, I had a load of colours. Well, I say a load. I definitely had, I think, 5 or 6 colours that I used them all up. And I've been waiting 2 months to have a colour used up this time. And I nearly missed it. Too busy chatting. That's what I was doing. I can imagine people commenting saying they were shouting at the screen that I got a little badge to say new. Okay, where was I before I got too excited? Tina, she said, sorry, she said, but she just had to laugh when I spilt the drills. She says it brought back a memory of when she did exactly the same thing. Spilling drills is a common occurrence. My son actually dropped one of his drills as he was putting his diamond painting away after doing a section for the day. He actually dropped a drill. I think it was one that was just resting on the painting somewhere rather than coming off it. And he actually took the time to pick the drill up, find the spot where it went in his case of diamonds and popped it away. He said he actually finds that fun. And I'm like, oh no, that would have just gone for the Hoover, that. There's not a chance I'd have done that. I don't think I could be bothered trying to find it. But yeah, he quite enjoyed figuring out which colour it was and putting it away properly. So maybe if I end up with a load of drills all over the floor, I know which child will sort them out. Taylor, she said she's just got her drills and canvas from Evermoment for her Little Dreamers tree. She said she's put it off for 3 years while she did her other Heaven and Earth design, but she is ready to get started. She said now to organise and sort through all these drills. She said she will be rewatching my heaven and earth design organising video. That is an epic job, I will say. Thoroughly enjoyable. If you enjoy kitting up a heaven and earth design is a process in itself. I know my mum actually had really enjoyed herself kitting hers up. She had great fun with it. And I'm actually looking forward to kitting up my blank canvas heaven and earth design. I'm looking forward to the process of figuring out what diamonds I do have, what diamonds I need. Yeah, I think it might be, you know, something that I continue once my current ones are done. I think that might be quite a few videos in the making while I figure out exactly what I need and what I've got for my next one. But I'm getting way ahead of myself here. Not even just a couple of months ahead of myself. I've got another one to finish. I'm just jealous. I really enjoy that process, that's for sure. It's the fun part, getting everything lined up, looking pretty, and then getting going. It's the middle of a project that sometimes things stall. But if you set yourself mini achievable goals, you will get through it. There's another one that I only need one of. Not today. We've already had our one for today. Cat Lady, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she's back to working on her heaven and earth design. She works on... Ooh. Get that diamond to go in. She works on 2 or 3 squares on the horizontal at a time. She says sometimes she will work 2 of the 3 sections in a session. So she does 6 in total. She says, but she's always runs into problems if she tries to work in squares on top of each other. So if she does 6, she does 6 across rather than one on top of the other, because that's just what causes her a problem, which is one of those. It's perfectly fine. You get used to what you get used to, and I do suggest that when you first start, you know, experiment with what works for you and get a nice flow. She says, so if she does a 2x2 or a 4x4 section, she says it just doesn't work for her. She says her Android tablet is a 10-inch internal screen, and it's a nice size to use for Pattern Keeper. She says she completed her Disney Princess quickly, as it was rounds and it was blocky. She says the other was a partial, which was done all in crystals, and she said that one came out well, she says, and she has put a photo on Facebook. Loving all this progress. As of today, as I'm filming this, I have 4 rows on my Cosmic still to do. So I use my cover paper sheets, which are half the size of the big ones, so they're 3 inches by 4 inches roughly. 3 by 4 inches. I lie them landscape. I find that works for me because I feel like I can get across a row quicker, which makes me feel like I'm making progress that way, even if I'm not making it height way. I have 7 going across, but then I have, well, it's actually 3.5 going up. So I have 2 full rows to do, and then I'll do that last 1.5 rows together. I always do, because I always start from the bottom to the top. Ooh, got loads of this one. I always start from the bottom to the top. And when I get to the point of the end, I want to see it finish. So I always end up doing 2 sections. Even if they're full sections, I will do 2 sections when I get to the top. But yeah, I am closer to finishing Cosmic. I'm not, it's still going to be a few weeks, but the end is near. And I'm so excited. I'm excited to finish it and see it done. I'm excited to do another one, to do a different painting, a whole kitting down and kitting up. I just love the whole process. So I'm excited for it all. Get those ticked. Trying to figure out what's the best. Sometimes I just don't quite know what's the best way to go through some of these symbols when they're scattered all over the place. Oh, I have actually done that one. So yeah, you'll find me sometimes dip all over the place. I'll do a mixture of doing a square, or sometimes I'll end up doing a run. Anne Smith says, thank you to that lady who explained cross-stitch parking. She says she will look into the previous chats to find out the link, she says, so that it can make a little bit more sense. Yeah, so she's linked to a video in like a beginner's series. It was video number 5 that she's linked to, that's about full stitches. But the actual parking part that the lady explains is in section 5A. So you will need to nip into the lady's playlist to find that one, unless YouTube automatically prompts you for it. I must say I did skip to 5A to have a look because I just wanted to get the concept of it all. It's a good video in relation to explaining. I do think she could have picked a cross stitch that was on a bigger canvas though, like a 14 count HAED or something. I did find they were quite small, but I know how to do stitches, so it didn't affect me in that way. I could perfectly tell what she was explaining, even though I couldn't see the material as easy as I would have done if it was bigger. But yeah, it was good to understand how it works. I still think I'm a cross-country cross-stitcher though. Just put a thread on, go across, get it all done. Get that colour out the way and don't have to double check anything on my next go round. Diamond Sparkle Chase, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, thank you very much for the diamond, she says, to help with her Heaven and Earth design. She said she is still waiting on her canvas. It's actually been stuck in customs since the 27th of March. She says she guesses that patience is a virtue. It's always something that you want that gets stuck in customs. We've actually got a few launch orders that were on their way to America. If they go through Atlanta, they're stuck waiting for customs clearance for some reason. Our courier company's chasing it, but anything that's gone through a different area, because basically all our parcels are sent over, or parcels to the States are sent over in bulk via DHL, and then they are I've just spotted that I've got one here that says it should have a diamond in it, but it doesn't. Okay, let me come back to that in a minute. Yeah, so the courier that we use bulk sends everything via DHL to America, and then it gets passed on to UPS, who then deliver. But for some reason, yeah, the ones that have gone via Atlanta are just stuck in customs. and we're waiting for them to clearance them, and we don't know why, so they're giving it a chase. Right, I've done something here, and I'm not sure if I've actually done it twice. I have done it twice. What's that symbol? 3712. I'm trying to see if I've actually, yeah, see, one of them I've put here. This shouldn't be here. This shouldn't be here. So let's move that one up. I think that's me doing it just down one wrong. And then, have I got another one that I've placed wrong? So I should have a gap of 4 there. 1. Oh no, I've just placed it in the wrong one. So it shouldn't be in data 1. It should be in data 1. Okay. Joys of confetti. Okay, where was I? So I've done those. There we go. 3721. At least it wasn't too far gone. She also says, Diamond Sparkle Chase, she also says, thank you for the answer on the size of tablet. She said she just wanted to make sure that she got the right one. Yeah, bigger is better. Depending, of course, on your budget. As ever, everything depends on budget, but try and get as big as you can. Just because then you can zoom in more, or you can fit more in your screen, depending on how you like to diamond paint. Okay, D. Corinne says she's just started her Heaven and Earth design project. She says she can only manage one morning a week so far, because she does want to get through her normal stash as well. She says because it's bigger than she'd like. I get that feeling at the moment. Mine is feeling rather big. I think I'm going to have to do something about it, but I'm still processing what to do about it. She says it takes her more than half an hour so far. She says, but hopefully she will get faster. And she says, congratulations on my progress. She said it looks amazing. Well, with the Heaven and Earth design, even though this one has been 3 years in the making, the one key thing I suppose I suggest to people with a Heaven and Earth design, because they are big, you know they're going to take a long time, is to try and set yourself sort of a bare minimum of the amount that you would like to work on it. So, for example, your one morning a week, yes, it would take longer than doing it every morning of the week, but it'll be quicker than what I was doing, which was not touching it for far too long, because I was just wanting to do, I was wanting to be able to spend hours on it in a week, and that's even more than what I'm doing now. It became a, I need to be doing this often, I need to be doing it this often. Or I would say, oh, I'll just do it once a month, and that wasn't enough. It made it drag on. So a lot of the time I just didn't end up doing it at all, which of course doesn't help because it doesn't get it done. So, it's like that saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time type thing. Is, set yourself sort of a mini time scale or amount you're going to do it. Try and set yourself actual maybe days, or as a task for this week, I'm going to do a section a week. And always keep that in the forefront of your mind unless you have a set day for it. So if you say you're going to do it on a Friday, then always do it on a Friday. But if you're just saying you're going to do it one section a week, always try and get that section done as early as you can so that you've met your goal, you're moving along. Yeah, and stop just turning round and realising that it's been on the shelf for 3 months and you've not touched it. Because that's how nothing gets done. Lady Dax, she says she's always wanted to learn Welsh too. She said her parents were from Wales and she's been to North Wales a few times. She says she loves it and it feels like home. She says when P. Jelly and herself were there, they were determined to learn how to say something in Welsh. She says, and they can now both say the longest word that the Welsh have. However, she can't write it. She says she still can't spell it. So I'm not quite sure what that word is. I could probably Google it, but I would probably hash it up. I do know that when I worked my corporate job, it involved speaking to Irish customers in the Republic of Ireland. And I have been known on quite a few occasions, I have actually, how do you pronounce, and popped in an Irish surname into Google and it would tell me how to pronounce it. I loved using that. Just so, you know, there's nothing worse than phoning somebody up to speak about their complaint and annoying them by saying a complete hash of their name to start off with. So Google was my friend when it came to that. It's not as easy to do that as I'm reading out comments on YouTube though. Okay. Oh, got another symbol I've not seen for a while. Only have 19 of them to do. Now 18. But we're getting there. Silja, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, in regards to parking in Cross-Stitch, she said there is a function on Pattern Keeper under shortcuts. She says where you can decide on which corner of the stitch you want to park your thread. So which of the 4 corners of your square you want to park. And then when you get to that section, Pattern Keeper will let you know that there's a thread there and what colour it is. Oh, now see, I like that. That would definitely, if that took out the thinking, or Pattern Keeper did the thinking for me, that would be something I'd be more tempted with. I do love it when I see people's cross stitch come together in more of a diamond painting way. You know, in the sections, in blocks that sort of move along the painting, whereas, or along the cross stitch, whereas mine were always all over the place. And then I'd have to fill the gaps like I do now. So yeah, Pattern Keeper is a winner for that one. She says, since she started diamond painting 10 days ago, welcome. She says she hasn't touched cross stitch. She says she has 28 heaven and earth designs on the go. Oh, that makes me feel better. Sorry if it doesn't make you feel better, but it does make me feel better. She says she knows she's a bit batty. She says she has completed 2 paintings and she has just received 2 from Diamond Art Club. One of them is a mystery. She says you've definitely been an inspiration to her to start dotting. She says she thanks me, her wallet not so much. she looks forward to seeing the progress on my WIP. Sorry about that, my battery died just as I was about to say something. But yeah, Celia, thank you so much. I am more than happy to take the aggression from your wallet. And I'm so happy that you enjoy diamond painting. It is so much fun. And even though you haven't touched your cross stitch, it is a new craft. Diamond painting is a new craft to you at the moment. You will probably find that you go back to flipping between the two. And maybe you'll find that you stop diamond painting for a bit because you get into a cross stitch again. I enjoy doing my cross stitch in winter. Don't know what it is, there's something about being... Okay, let me just throw that diamond on the floor and on my worktop, and one over here. Yeah, there's just something about curling up and doing a cross stitch in winter that I don't know, I do enjoy. Even though, of course, I diamond paint most of the time, and I have just picked up one cross stitch that I've done in the time I've been diamond painting, so I'm not an expert at doing both. I know there are a few people that do both. Jo does both. I've seen images of her working on a Heaven and Earth design cross stitch as well as paintings. But yeah, there are many other people that do a couple of different crafts, so they do crochet and things as well. And you'll find your little balance, but enjoy the excitement of your new craft, you know. And then, you know, when that initial excitement or full-on excitement wanes off a little bit, that's when you'll find that you start mixing and matching your crafts and enjoying all of them without being able to get tired of any. Though I've not got tired of diamond painting yet, so you might have a few more years in you. We shall see. Darcy, she says she just received her order an hour ago. She said the sunset tray is really, really pretty. She says, but she didn't realise how small the trashy tray was initially. She said, but it will work. Yes, our trashy trays are tiny, but in turn, I think, well, a lot of people, myself included, while it initially shocks you how small they are, let's find a pink one. Pink to pink. So yeah, they are a bit bigger than the end of your tray, but not hugely, if that focuses. And that is right to the stopper. But like, yeah, they are tiny compared to a tray. But it is amazing how many trash diamonds you can get in there. If you think, if I tip her, you know, that's just still laying flat. Even when I have it tilted, I get quite a lot of trash diamonds in there before I have to empty it. I've never had to empty it mid-session either. And they're the perfect size. You can add, if you want and have the ability to, you can add a magnet to the back and use it as a cover minder as well. The reason we don't is actually shipping magnets even within the UK or out of the UK involves so much paperwork, warnings, clarifications on custom documents, just all sorts, that for one item that isn't just, you know, not every trashy would have been a cover minder. It would have been a mixture of the two. Yeah, the legalities surrounding it, when it is so easy for you to just add a magnet to the back if you want one. just didn't outweigh yeah, all the paperwork and stuff that goes with it. There'd be some countries we wouldn't be able to ship them to, and yeah, it just became a nightmare. They need to be certified, they need to come with warnings, and yeah, I don't know how some companies get away with it, get away with shipping it. Maybe it's something that they're not actually aware of the legalities. Not that that should be that forgiving, you know, not that that should mean that they don't do it. But yeah, it's a legal nightmare. So you can still add one if you want one, but then it's your magnet and your responsibility. Especially if you have kids. I think a lot of it is actually based around the fact that it's 2 magnets that we send. Or a cover minder has 2 magnets. One, of course, on the back of it, and then one for it to go on the back of your diamond painting for it to clip to. 2 magnets are more dangerous than 1 magnet, because they can stick to your insides if swallowed, and they can clamp to different parts of your digestive system and all the rest of it. That, yeah. But their trashies are great. I absolutely love them, and I just think it's another thing that we can have that's pretty, and I like pretty things, so that's why I go for it. Anika's Crafts, she says, okay, she says, I've now passed her in percentage completed on my Heaven and Earth design. She says she's not done more than 10 squares, she says, since I started my challenge for 2023. She says her hands are not willing to do any crafting, drilling, crocheting or knitting. She says she's going stir crazy when she's not got a craft to do. She says, but this wishy-washy weather is hopefully soon over, and she'll be able to craft again. Oh, I do hope you can craft again. As much as I was making the excited noises of actually getting somewhere with my Heaven and Earth design, I wouldn't want it to be on the basis that you can't craft at all. That's not fun. So I do really hope that you're feeling better soon. If not, you know, hopefully at least the weather will cheer up so that you can do something else instead. But yeah, I'm on 74.07% now. So I'm expecting that it's in this section here that I will hit 75%. It's in there somewhere. But that's my next section. I've actually got quite a lot of 939 creeping in. And 939, because the section is a full square, I actually find myself wanting to do what I did right at the top, which was do the 939 first, because sometimes it stops me seeing the other symbols. I always think that they're a finished square when they haven't got any diamonds on them. But anyway, that is my section done. So let me close down the app, because I find it works better that way. If I get the app closed down and then when I reopen it, it doesn't give me any problems. And there we go. We've got something here. I thought it was just the sky behind, but I kind of feel like this blue here might be something. Oh no, maybe it is just the sky. So we're down here. See, look, it's nice to say we're down here. It is going to start getting quite a bit lighter blue here. Maybe that's where the rest of my blues I will have used. But we do still have quite a bit of blossom here. Oh, and we have somebody here there's definitely a figure there. So maybe we're going to start getting into this other figure once we get past this sort of light part that I've just done. We've got something going on down here. So yeah, be interesting to see what crops up next. That's another row done. I can see the bottom of my paper. I can see the bottom. Still a way off, but I can see the bottom. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me for this long whip and waffle. I will be back with another. We'll see how many squares I've done. See, I did have diamonds floating about everywhere. I'll put that on the side in case one disappears anywhere. But yeah, we'll see how much I get done before I film the next whip and waffle. But thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.